Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hello, welcome to another episode of In the Trenches with Gang Green. I'm your host, Bubbs. Today is Wednesday, September 3rd. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far today. This is episode 618 of the In the Trenches with Gang Green podcast. I thank you, as always, for joining me. For those tuning in on YouTube, make sure to please like and subscribe. Of course, appreciate all of those tuning in on all the different audio podcast platforms. And today we've got some unfortunate New York Jets injury news to discuss here on the podcast. As news broke earlier today, Alijah Vera-Tucker, it looks like his 2025 season is over before it started. Just brutal news here for the New York Jets. So in today's episode, I want to break down what this means for the Jets offensively, not just offensive line, but as the offense as a whole, and what's next for the Jets now with AVT, all signs pointing towards him missing the 2025 season. Just a brutal blow here for the Jets, and just so unfortunate from the Jets perspective, Jets fans. It just stinks. News like this offseason's been very quiet. The Jets have not had any major injuries, no major outside issues, holdouts. It's been professional. It's been normal, and we're just a couple days away from the season opener, Jets-Steelers MetLife Stadium, to open up the Aaron Glenn era. And just a couple days prior, after such a good training camp for Alijah Vera-Tucker, coming off of a healthy season for AVT, we get news early this morning that it looks like he's going to miss the season. The initial reports came out from Diana Rossini, Ian Rappaport, Schefter, all of them all reported initially was an upper body injury. And then as the day went on, we learned it was an arm injury. And now just a little bit ago, Adam Schefter confirming AVT is going for a second opinion, but it appears it is another torn tricep, and it is the other arm. So he has now torn his tricep in both the left and right arm. The torn tricep was the injury that took him out of the 2022 season in Denver. And then the next year, of course, he tore his Achilles. It's just so unfortunate on so many levels from the AVT perspective, and then we'll get to the team element and what this means for the Jets and what's next for this offensive line and how it affects things, because it does have a major impact on the New York Jets moving forward with the way that this offense is going to be constructed. A heavy dose of running the football. AVT was a big part of that, and you saw that in the summer. But from the AVT perspective, you feel horrible for him. This was a guy that was just elected as a team captain, really has turned into a leader on this team, and was entering this season as, when healthy, the best and one of the most important offensive linemen, offensive players on this team for the New York Jets. His ability both in pass protection, but more importantly, as a run blocker. You saw it in the summer. You saw it during training camp. The amount of times the Jets were running behind Alijah Vera-Tucker, running on that right side, opening up holes. We've seen it throughout his career, him have success, and you were waiting for him to take that next big jump this season, finally coming off of a healthy year in 2024 where he had a healthy offseason, didn't have to rehab from anything this offseason. You were hoping for a massive 2025 where when he's healthy, he's one of the better offensive linemen. Forget on the Jets. He's one of the better offensive linemen in the NFL. And it just stinks for him. Team captain was lining himself up if he was healthy this season and had another big year, which all signs pointed towards that, to get a big payday. Aaron Glenn even mentioned it during training camp early on that he is a guy that they would like to keep around, and kind of hinted at a potential extension happening during the season. We've talked a lot about AVT and John Simpson, both those contracts being up. This injury now completely throws that out the window. Playing on the fifth-year option, you're not giving him long-term money, and that is so unfortunate for AVT an opportunity for him to go out there this year and have a big season, get a big payday, which would be well-deserved. Right, 2021, he played 16 of 17 games in his rookie year, was healthy. And in 2022 and 2023, only played 12 games during those 2 seasons, had the torn tricep in 22, and in 23 had the Achilles tear. Last year played 15 of a possible 17, was healthy, played really well, and finally healthy, big summer, big expectations, big piece in this run game up front, and now he's done for the year. And that's so brutal from his perspective, just being a team captain and having another one of these injuries at just 26 years old for a guy that's so talented, just can't stay on the field. This is now his 3rd season-ending injury in 5 seasons. You know, you look at the numbers last year for AVT, 77.7 overall grade, a 74.5 pass block grade, 76.3 run blocking grade, allowed just a 2.75% pressure rate allowed, had a 98.3 pass block efficiency. AVT and John Simpson turned into one of the best guard duos in the NFL. They were the only guard duo last year to finish top 10 in pass block efficiency, both to finish top 10 in pass block efficiency, AVT and John Simpson. You know, the run block rate, of course, inside the top 15, inside the top 20 in both pass block and overall grade, pressure rate inside the top 5 among guards last year. You were hoping to see that this year on the field again, and now that's not the case. So that's the AVT perspective. You feel awful for the player. You feel awful for the human being. From the team perspective, it's a massive blow, and what's so unfortunate about all of this is we haven't even played a game. We haven't even played a snap. We're a couple days away from week 1, and we're now already from the Jets' angle here testing this team's depth on the offensive line. And we've talked all offseason. I talked about it yesterday on my season preview episode about the lack of depth on this New York Jets roster, right? The top end talent, the starting talent, there's a lot of talent there. But when you look around at a variety of different positions, both offensively and defensively, you have concerns about the depth on this team. And here we are before the season even starts, you're testing the depth on the offensive line. The easy week 1 offensive line is now going to be Joe Tippmann at right guard and Josh Myers at center. And what's so frustrating and kind of weird about all this is, you know, the Jets yesterday listed their unofficial depth chart, and Joe Tippmann and Josh Myers were both listed as the starting center. So Aaron Glenn, this coaching staff, still not revealing anything there. But for a little while, we started to get the hint that it would maybe be John Simpson that would maybe miss some time. You know, he dealt with a little bit of an injury during training camp, missed some practices towards the end. And it seemed like that was the Jets' way of saying Tippmann might have to step in at guard for Simpson. But here we are now, it's AVT going down. So either way, you're still going to have Tippmann moving on over to guard here early and Josh Myers at center. And Joe Tippmann at guard is not a big problem. He's played guard, right guard before 198 snaps and has actually played well. Is he AVT? No. The big issue, though, is Josh Myers. The drop-off at center and the drop-off on this offensive line for Josh Myers, especially when it comes to a run-blocking perspective compared to what you would get out of AVT at right guard and Joe Tippmann at center, because, yes, I do believe in a world where AVT was healthy, Joe Tippmann would have been this team's starting center. I was not buying into, even on the unofficial depth chart listing them both, he would have won this job. He was going to be out there against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was my belief. But now that's not the case. And Josh Myers, center, he's a capable backup, but his run blocking is a concern, and it's a big drop-off, and you're already testing your depth. Before the season even started now, you have to hope that all 5 of these guys can now stay healthy because your depth's already now in play. And you're one injury away now from really being thin at the offensive line spot, where you would have to see an Xavier Newman or even a Marquise Hayes come up there and play a role as well. That's now where you're getting a little bit thin already. So that's the really frustrating part. And just what this Jets offense wants to do this season in terms of running the football, being a ground and pound team, running behind Alijah Vera-Tucker was going to be a big part of that. That's now taken away. And that's brutal. It's brutal. It's so frustrating because here we are again with the Jets. What did we do to deserve this? Couple days before the regular season, and we already have a major injury in an off season. Like I said earlier, there's been no major injuries. There's been no outside noise. There's been no holdouts. It's been a quiet off season. We're just a couple days away from having that be the case. And now you get this major injury that pops up. And I don't want to be ultra negative and say the season's over. No. But when you do look at, and I'll go back here now a couple years, so a little skewed, but when you look at the impact AVT has on this team from when he's on the field and off the field, it is a really, really big discrepancy. When you look at 2022 and 2023, those two seasons where he missed a ton of time, only played 12 of a possible 34 games in those two seasons. AVT, when he was on the field, compared to AVT when he was off the field, it was a totally different Jets offense, specifically from a run game perspective. So I want to read you these numbers. In 2022 and 2023, those two seasons, in games where Alijah Vera-Tucker was on the field, Breece Hall averaged 6.08 yards per carry. And without AVT, he averaged 3.97 yards per carry. The team winning percentage with AVT was 583. Without AVT was 318. And the points per game was 21.2 with AVT, 14.1 without. So about a touchdown less in those two seasons when AVT was off the field as opposed to on the field. You talk about a player on the offensive line that can completely change the trajectory of a team's success on offense. AVT has shown he's one of those players, and the New York Jets now do not have him for the 2025 season. Torn tricep yet again. Don't know the specifics of how it happened, but it's next man up. It's next man up because now the depth's being tested. Tittman and Myers, they have to step in. Myers at center, Tittman at guard, to see if there's any outside moves that the New York Jets make. But week one, that's your starting five now. And that's not as good as AVT being at right guard. And that certainly affects the run game, which is the identity and the main pathway to this team having success, which is brutal. And there's no other way to sugarcoat it. So that's my thoughts on the AVT injury. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Just wanted to get some thoughts off here. AVT, Jets, how it impacts both sides. Feel for AVT. And from the Jets' perspective, it's a brutal blow. And you have to figure it out now with these other pieces. So stay tuned. We'll have a lot more content coming your way. Week one, just a couple days away. Still can't wait. Still fired up. But this news certainly puts a big damper on what you were hoping to see out of this offense here in 2025 with AVT in the mix. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below on this move. Any other Jets takes you got, let me know down below. Appreciate you all so much. And until next time, JETS, 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 Jets.